Firearms expert reacts to Counter-Strike 2's guns part 2. Should we go in? Last one was kind of interesting. I'm down. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
This is Jonathan Ferguson, the keeper of firearms and artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And this week, we're back on the maps of Dust and Vertigo to take another look at some more weapons from Counter-Strike 2.
Oh god! Oh, the
Bro, they have to make an exclusive video on him just rating skins, not the guns, but just skins.
It's tense. Okay, that's weird.
If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what other games or guns you'd like to see Jonathan break
CS
down.
only.
Right, over to Jonathan.
Huh?
Isn't that delightful? A dip, effectively, a custom finish, a skin, and a lovely sticker.
Yeah.
What more could you want? So I think more than once I've mentioned this airsoft heritage to video game guns. So I'm seeing it here as well. So the front of the receiver on this M4A4, which isn't a real thing, is too wide, and that's because it's based on the automatic electric gun, airsoft gun from Japan from, well, decades ago now. It's when it originated. They had to make the whole thing wider to fit all of the electrical gubbins. So that's carried.
Let me make it a little bit louder. Bro, I used to have a fucking airsoft gun. I used to have a full metal AK.
Over into, well, you see it in lower
And it was
budget.
so annoying. I said this before, bro. All of my homies, we had like airsoft guns, right? And sometimes we just went outside and shot some shit. Dude, they all had like a small glizzy or something. They just walked around with it, right? And I thought it was cool to buy a full metal AK. It wasn't like more expensive or something, but it was kind of more expensive. But it was, I thought, man, full metal, that's crazy. And it was so fucking heavy, dude. And I always like, guys, let's take a break. Bro. And they with their small glizzies, what do you mean? Jeez. Worst purchase of my life.
Movies where they use airsoft
I got it
guns.
for Christmas, I think. Oh, man, oh, man.
And you see it in games where they copy the airsoft gun rather than the real gun. Very nerdy, but that's the business we're in. It's got those lightning slots in it, but they appear to be just painted on as a texture. And that shape of stock with the battery compartments either side shouldn't have holes in it anyway.
Blah,
so
blah,
the
blah.
design of the stock is a bit squiffy.
So what?
Otherwise, it's an AR.
5.7. Show IRL version, please.
It looks like it's a plastic cover over a metal slide, which is correct. Still very much has that sci-fi look. I always think of Battlestar Galactica when I see these. It's on its third iteration now, so this is based on the second, which is the one that we have. There's a completely redesigned version out now, which we'll have to try and get hold of. I say completely, it's the same gun, but with a different frame and slide shape. A bit like cars, they update the externals every few years. Really good on the recoil side. It's a high velocity, potentially armor-piercing projectile, but relatively low pressure, small caliber, lightweight bullets.
Show him the pussy
it is
pattern.
really
Oh no,
controllable. You see
please.
that here.
Missed opportunity if he doesn't. 5.7 Kami, pattern X 909.
Yeah, it's the muzzle is flipping less than the other pistols in the game, even the 9mm, which is correct. It's, or at least subjectively, it's correct.
Please.
And the design of the gun lends itself to being controlled really well. Problem comes with doing damage to the human body, because these bullets are very small diameter and they can zip straight through, and your terrorist may not be immediately stopped. Part of the reason that they haven't necessarily caught on that well. It will defeat soft body armor, which is a concern in modern counter-terror, for sure. So you might need to fire more shots.
Why is he? He seems tired today, no? He was a lot higher energy in the last video. Oh, man.
Now, by very lucky circumstance, we have very recently acquired one of these.
Wow. What is that wooden stock, though?
Mag 7.
But that thing is
shotgun.
huge.
Now, the one in the game is very, very short indeed. This has basically a full-length barrel and the wooden buttstock, which is actually part of the top cover in this design. It's incredibly weird, really stupidly massive pistol grip, because it's the magazine, like an Uzi, and we are missing a mag for this as yet. Pretty much works as the game depicts it. Shotgun that short, you're going to get a fair bit of recoil and flash, which is what we see there. We have a fire selector on the, or safety I should say, on the left side. which just pops up the safe,
Shoot it.
blocks the trigger, pops down for fire. The whole thing is really weird. It looks like, I have to go back and check what 80s action movies it might have been in. Actually, I think it missed those. It should have been in the 80s anyway. Has that look to it. It is a South African design. It actually says on the receiver, made in RSA by Techno Arms. Techno Arms sounds a bit 90s, doesn't it?
Apparently, the only movie it was in was the terrible, controversial opinion, Romeo and Juliet, 1996.
Dave, that is a controversial opinion. I held off watching that for a long time, but I hated the idea of Shakespearean stuff with guns in it. And my wife cajoled me into watching it, and I actually quite enjoyed it. And I think everyone else liked it. So I think it might just be you.
CZ. Ooh. Show IRL version. Does the IRL version have the bullet at the bottom like this as well?
Okay, so CZ75 Auto. And you might look at this and think, what the hell video game contrivance is this? But behold, it is a real firearm, complete with extended ported barrel.
It's 1-to-1.
The spare magazine at the foregrip, that obviously push up a catch and it pops off and you can swap magazines, at which point you lose about 50% of your control of the firearm. The base plate is specially shaped to allow you to latch it onto the dust cover rail, like
that's
so.
Nice.
You want to make sure that's latched on so that when you start firing, it doesn't come off and shoot you in the hand. You might then be wondering, okay, it's a real thing. It's automatic. It's got a compensator and a grip to help with recoil. How do you switch it to automatic? Well, you can actually see it modeled on the game gun. So with the hammer cocked, we have safe and we have fire. Where the heck is the selector? Well, if you slide what would be the safety forwards and down, it reveals the second setting.
Bro, I've never shot a gun. A real gun. Have you? Type 1 if you did, 2 if you didn't. Oh, I think we have a lot of Americans in chat now. It's gonna be like 50-50 or something. Oh my god! Interesting. Is it like fun or something? Because people shoot guns as activities, no? Like some people go bowling. Yeah, let me shoot an AK. Like, is it actually like very fun? Really? Okay. Would you rather go to Roller Coaster Park, aka like Heide Park or Europa Park, or a shooting range? Can't be more fun than Heide Park, wa? Guns. No way, dude. That's crazy.
Which is what the gun is set to in that game model. Pretty bang on. We've got some realistic wear patterns on the model, on the texture, I should say. We don't have the trademark, so we don't have CZ75 automatic, etc., on the side, which we should do. They have depicted that catch that holds the magazine in place. Weirdly, it looks like we have. No, I was going to say we have wear on the plastic grips, but I think that's meant to be just sort of gunk. Really changes the look of the thing. Obvious thing to say, but does it let you change to semi, Dave?
No.
But it does use the foregrip spare magazine, which is incredibly cool. So we literally see it run out, get rid of that magazine, pop this one off, spin it round, which is a bit awkward, insert that and fire that.
Fucking IKEA
exactly as you would. You can see how much muzzle rise there is. Now, if the gun was really flipping that much under recoil, you'd be shooting the ceiling. So I don't think that's quite right. People have trained to be able to keep these things like Block 18 or whatever on target.
Yeah, simple, no?
Remarkably well. It's just anticipating that recoil, especially with this foregrip. So there's no real reason why you shouldn't be able to pull that down and keep it shooting flat and not shooting up at the ceiling, because there is this disconnect between where the reticle is and where the muzzle of the model of the gun is. To me, anyway.
Oh! Hey! Nice! Please, let him react to this! What about the K... What? He's flabbergasted!
Oh, the tense. It's tense. Okay, that's...
It's a kitty!
Yeah, I didn't pick up our inert Bison submachine gun, and for its sake, I'm quite glad, because this thing is horrifying.
What?
I kind of appreciate the cat motif in principle, but the purple highlights and the terrified-looking cartoon cat are really not my style.
Bro, am I the only one that wants to see him just react to skins? Like, yeah, they want to show off their guns, right? Because it's they want to advertise the museum and shit, but dog, I want to see, so badly, I want to see him to react to, like, stickers and all the skins, dude.
But it's a bit of fun.
That would be a banger.
Some interesting lighting effects going on with the muzzle flashes playing along the top of the tubular magazine, which is a little... I think that's probably right. I think it would depend on the ambient lighting as to whether you'd see it as much as we're seeing it here. But there's attention to detail there that muzzle flash that happens at the front of the gun is, because it's able to, effectively, coming back along the top surface of the magazine either side. Bison is a...
I feel like he's an AWP Prince enjoyer, dude. He's like Arrow.
good choice for the game in many ways. It's really designed for this kind of role, or was, security services rather than military. The Russians have moved over to a much more MP5 configuration with the PP19, same name, different Vityaz, with a conventional box magazine, suggesting that the helical magazine was problematic for them.
Ooh, please have an RL. Fucking love the MP9.
So here we have a sort of legal dodge, usual sort of thing where we say it's made in Switzerland, it's called an MP9, but we don't mention Brugger and Tommet, or B&T as they now are, because we don't want to get sued. Everyone does this. That's not remarkable in any way. But what I'm getting at actually is that I appreciate the fact that they are trying to represent this reality, as it were. That they're not. Often game companies will switch the manufacturer's origin country as though that's going to protect them from lawsuits, which it won't. So why not have this Swiss machine pistol come from Switzerland? I'm not convinced by some of this backwards lighting from the muzzle flash. It seems a little intense.
Never thought about that.
Reflecting all the way back to your gloves. But I've never looked down at my hands while firing a weapon. So this is one that we do have. You will have seen in previous episodes, but I have a full rack, so
No.
I can't compare everything. It fits that niche of compact, high rate of fire, low damage, being pistol rounds.
And cheap. Well, at least in the game. That's the...
Cheap, yeah. Buying guns on the fly is quite amusing. It even was back in '99 when the original game first launched. So we are fully equipped counter-terrorist police, but we have to buy our guns from them back while we're waiting for the terrorists to attack. Yeah, specialist police assigned to protect the population from terrorists tend to get pretty good funding, and they definitely show up with their weapons. They don't go and buy them.
I hate the Galil. Oh my, I hate the Galil in CS2.
Okay, the Galil AR. It says it's the AR. That looks a bit more like the ACE to me. Yes, it is. So it has a sort of auxiliary polymer lower receiver trigger group magwell that our Galils don't have because they're too old. Yeah, interesting. So that's a quirk on the whole correct naming of guns in games, is that the gun itself is correctly named, but the menu calls it the AR, which it isn't. Charging handle reciprocating is correct because this is at its heart just an AK, so it has a fixed charging handle. This looks pretty good. It's a short-barreled assault rifle, so significant recoil, significant flash and sound, but you get benefit of a compact weapon. Again, a staple of counter-terrorist police. They want short, handy weapons for the most part, unless they're sniping. We can see here the attempt to modernize the basic AK design, not just with the rails and the modular adjustable stock and things, but that left side cocking handle, so that you can use the modern practice of keeping your firing hand on the pistol grip at all times, which the original AK was not designed for. Designed to be operated with the right hand. Basically, you do everything with your right hand.
True. Ooh, you will have a lot to waffle about this one.
Wondering if this was a typo, I did grab an SG552, which is the super short carbine version of the
This is so small.
SG552 Commando. Along with the HK53, one of those relatively early 5.56 short-barreled select fire weapons. But as you can see, this is not a match for the gun in the game. It's wrong. It's the wrong gun. What we have here is, I believe, a SIG 556. So for some reason, they've rolled the number down to 553. I don't believe there's a SIG SG 553. I'm sure you'll all correct me if I'm wrong there. We certainly don't have one. And what this represents is a transition between this, which is a sort of AK-inspired sheet metal Cold War infantry rifle at its heart, to something more compatible with NATO standard stuff. It's become very popular, including not just with military, but with police forces. So counter-terrorist police in the UK use the SIG NCX, which is basically the replacement for this. Surprising in a way that the 556 didn't take off more than it did.
I think a large reason why the guns are basically the same from CSGO to CS2 is that skin economy, because
Of course.
you brought your skins over from CSGO to CS2, so they have to redesign those to allow players to keep them. And obviously, such a big thing in Counter-Strike now.
It's the thing in Counter-Strike.
They can't be having that.
That's really interesting insight that I wouldn't have. So thank you for that. I can see why that's a constraint that we talk about constraints a lot on the series, but that's one that I hadn't anticipated. I would have thought you would just close out the old series and move to the next. But yeah, they don't want to alienate the whole market by making it impossible to use existing skins.
Yes, sir. Ooh, Scout, please have one. Please have one.
The SSG 08, so a successor to the famous SSG, conventional bolt-action rifle in an old-fashioned lump of, well, plastic, not wood, stock. This is very much in the modern tradition of a sort of chassis setup with rails, with a detachable box magazine, with a configurable stock at the back of it, and the barrel fully free-floated, of course, so it's not being contacted by the stock and not affecting accuracy. Same reticle as the other sniper rifles, so you've got a completely different scope that really ought to have symbology in it for actual accurate shooting that it just has nothing. It's just a crosshair. As an outsider at this point, I'm not really seeing how this differentiates itself from the AWP.
Yeah, this is a lot lower power than the AWP. So
Oh,
one
really?
headshot. The AWP is a one shot anywhere in the body. The SSG-08 is cheaper, more easily accessible, more ammo, fires a little faster.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Bro, these guys know their stuff.
It lacks that sort of guaranteed one-shot kill potential, so it's more of the budget sniper option in the game.
So that's interesting. That they should, in theory, both be 7.62. I mean, modern sniper rifles are available in multiple different calibers, but and potentially the Steyr has a longer barrel, I think. So it ought to, if anything, be ever so slightly more powerful than the AWP. But the opposite is true for game reasons.
Yeah, it's in the description. It says it's a low damage but very cost-effective sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that the Steyr 08 is low damage. So even if it was the smallest caliber 243 Winchester, that is a necked down 308. So it's a smaller, faster bullet, but it's no less destructive in the scheme of things.
He has to have one of these. Why is it so loud?
This is a very boutique Smith & Wesson revolver. Huge cylinder on this thing. I actually don't know if the real revolver is supposed to be, what, 8 shots, is this?
It plays really bizarrely as well. Like, you hold down the trigger and it's as if you're pulling the full single action trigger. You can like hold left click a little bit and the trigger comes back and let it go without firing. Or you can fan the hammer once for like an inaccurate shot.
So you press the mouse button.
As you hold them, you have to hold the left click for just a second for the hammer to come back all the way, release, and
Oh, I
fire a
see.
shot.
That's very cool. That replicates the difficulty, the effort required to pull through on a double action trigger. It can't make the gun less accurate in the game, unless they wanted to be really sadistic. But what it can do is reduce your response time. So, yeah, interesting. So we don't get the single action mode, we get double action and we get fast double action by fanning it. It's a different and interesting way to handle a revolver in a game.
Oh man. Why is it so goddamn loud, dude? Hell nah.
It's our old friend, the P90. Not seeing the
Dude,
round.
I'm so fried. I never realized that when you spray, this looks like frog eggs. Froschleich.
It's our old friend, the P90. Not seeing the rounds in the magazine, though. No, they've punched it. That's a bit of a
Question mark?
shame.
What are you
That's
talking
a
about?
backward step. We got to the point where you could see the rounds through the translucent magazine, and you could see them
Shut
merrily
your ass up,
proceeding
bro.
along the top of the weapon. Sadly, this has been made artificially opaque, so they don't have to worry about doing that.
When I was spectating someone using it in third person, I was pleasantly surprised to see the cartridges slinging out the bottom as well.
Ah, yes. See, our SAS friend here is merrily spitting cases all over the floor. Such a cool design, the P90. Can't take that away from it.
Bro, he's got none of these IRL, please. Gotta have the Tech 9. Come on, whip it out, brother.
The Intratec Tech 9,
No.
or I believe, actually,
Oh
this is
my
the
God.
Tech DC
Why is it so big?
9. Could be wrong. There could be a marked up Tech 9 model
Whoa.
that matches this in every detail. But if there is, we don't have it in our selection of
That's
Tech 9
huge.
adjacent firearms. So it kept getting renamed and it kept getting redesigned due to US laws. If you're wondering why this apparent machine pistol is firing on semi-automatic, that's correct. And in the description, it calls it a pistol. This is a semi-automatic pistol. They have been converted to automatic fire. They do not come in automatic. They have been redesigned specifically to make it difficult to convert them. So this only fires one shot for every pull of the trigger. And our gun here is an exact match for the one in the game. Polymer receiver, tubular steel upper, closed bolt operation, very stiff magazine on this one. I'm pleased to see this represented as a semi-automatic firearm for in-game criminals, because plenty of legitimate owners of these, but they did become popular with the likes of criminal gangs. Oh, this does have a safety, by the way. Pushing in the bolt handle is the safety. Two-handed grip like this, interestingly, you could definitely shoot it that way. You might well prefer to just effect a normal two-handed pistol grip on it. I think I probably would if I was shooting this personally, but equally valid to grasp the magazine well. I think it gives a lot more room for inaccuracy and lack of control than actually the very serviceable two-handed modern grip as though it was a normal pistol. People look at these and think that they are more powerful and scary than they are because they look like a machine pistol, but they are a glorified handgun. Right, guys, more guns from Counter-Strike 2. Hope you enjoyed that one. Interesting variety for sure, I thought. As always, guys, we are the Royal Armouries, the UK's National Museum of Arms and Armour. We have 3 museums in the UK. If you ever visit these aisles, please do come and visit us at one of those. We have our own social media channels, our own YouTube channel, of course. More of me talking nonsense about firearms over there.
We need skins.
Check out some or all or none of that. But we'll see you again here on the GameSpot channel next week.
Just skins. One episode, just
Hast
skins.
du etwas Zeit für mich? Singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons.
Auf ihrem Weg zum Horizont, denn so viel Leid war danach.
Singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons.
Das sowas von